So this is module 10. It's about basic router configuration. In chapter 2, there are basic basic end and switching configurations. And the same concepts. I just wanted to assess you and see where you are. But you guys, I don't know what happened. So the areas, just initial router settings, or what we call the basic, and then how to configure interfaces of the router, and then dealing with the default gateways. The initial configuration, they are here. That all you need just to interpret the modes and then you copy and paste. These are syntax, the steps that if you want to configure the device name, this is the command, and then you put the attribute what you want to name that router or the description name. Secure privilege mode. If you want to secure the privilege mode, be in this mode, global, and then run the command enable secret, provide the password. Secure user access mode. The user access mode. The password that restricts the other mode with greater symbol. Line console 0, then password, you provide the password, login. Secure remote telnet or SSH. Be in global configuration mode, line VTY 024, password, then you provide the password, log in. We have an extra line here where you can use the transport input. So the transport input there you can decide, is it going to be SSH, which stands for secure shell, or it's telnet. Still you can actually use both of them. Then we have encrypt plain passwords, that line console, line VTY. There is even the enable password for secure privilege, where you have to set it as enable password. So the three, they are in plain text. So if you want to encrypt them, it's service password encryption. Then provide legal notice. Legal notice, or the notification the banner. So be in global configuration mode, banner, MOTD, and then you select the symbol. Any symbol, but not what? But not this symbol here. The question mark. Because this one here, it is reserved for other pop-up. So provide legal notch and then save the configuration. Banner, MOTD, as you can see here, this is a hash. Please, the symbol that you've started with, make sure that you end it with. That's very simple. Or in other words, you nest your message with the symbol that you've selected. If it's /, make sure that your message is in between the /. If it's /, make sure that your message it is in /. So you need to note that. You just select any symbol that you want and make sure that the message it is between the symbol that you've selected. But some of you, you're going to have a hash here, and then you try to end with the /. It's going to complain. It's going to complain. So the other one, there was just the syntax. Now here we have the real initial configurations, as you can see. Host name, this, enable secret, class, line console, this, line console, then password, Cisco, we have login. That is the privilege. Sorry, not privilege, but the user access mode password. Line VTY, password, then this is line VTY, the telnet. Then we have actually up to here. Then we have service password, encryption to encrypt this, and then even this one here. then banner, as you can see, MOTD here, and then after this, you press enter, see the message, the notification, enter text message, end with a new line, and the symbol it is here. See this? So enter the text message. You make sure that you end with the symbol that you started with. And then after that, this person used the stars, as you can see. Now, whatever that you enter here, it's going to be part of the banner. So these stars that you're seeing, it's part of the banner. And then the message is this: warning, unauthorized access is prohibited. And then after that, she entered, created a new line, still the stars. That if the configurations are verified, you're going to see your message nested within actually this as part of the message, and then you do this. Like the design, the design. And then after that, saving. If you want to save the configuration, being privileged, note, you need to take note of the mods. That the mods are not the same where to run those configurations. So if you go astray in the mods, then it means that even if you know the commands, you will not be able to have the right results. So copy running config, then start. We're copying from running temporary storage, then to startup, which is permanent storage. That every time a router or a device is booting, that permanent storage or that permanent file, it has to be checked into what is in that file. Whatever that is there, it's going to be loaded. This is packet tracer. Configure initial router settings. I gave you the. So this is the packet tracer. You will do the following: verify default router configuration, configure and verify initial router configuration, then save. Configure interface. The other one was the basic configurations. And here we have another, but it's the same. Verify default and blah blah. Then so configure router interface. Configure router, configure the router interfaces. So if you want to configure the router interface, those are the commands that we did. You call the interface and the router, for example, interface, then G, first there is a space, it's interface, then G, 0, 0, and then you give it the IP address. So it's you first call the interface where you want the IP address, you put the description if you want to describe the interface, then you put the IP address. So we have two versions. We have version 4 and then version 6. So if you are dealing with version 4, just IP address, you state the address. Then IPv6, you state the IPv6 address, no shutdown. This command here is for activating the interface. We had syntax to the other side. Now here, these are real example. As you can see, call the interface, then the description, the IPv4 address, IPv6, then no shutdown. Verifying the interface. We have this command. Please get used with this command. Show IP. It's show IP interface brief. It will actually display the available interfaces, then the addresses that are assigned there. But here we have used the IP, so it will display on the version 4 addresses. If you want to deal with IPv6, well, we have IP add 6, IPv6. So there it will display the IPv6 addresses. We have a summary of the show commands. They are here. We have show IP interface brief. We have show IP v6 interface brief, show IP root, show IP v6. As you can see, that in two versions. See? There is where we have IP, there is where we have IPv6. So once you include version 6, then it means that you are dealing with IPv6. Where you have IP flat, you are dealing with the default, which is IPv4. Show interfaces, then show IP interface, then we have show IPv6 interface. Where we have just something that is general, show IP interface. It means that the interfaces are going to be outputted with lots of information on the interface. How many interfaces? There are like maybe 4. Each interface is going to be actually detailed with the information. But while we have something like this, you see while we have brief, it's going to list the ports, see, the interfaces. How many? There are 4 only. But while we have just interface, show IP v6 interface, which is this one here, it will list port 1 detailed, port 2 so detailed. So you will get like almost like 10 pages, almost 10 pages. So you need to get used with these commands, because these are the ones that you can use to troubleshoot, to actually gather information from the device. This is not graphical user interface where you're going to click here, then you get information. No, we use the commands. And even you need to note this, where to run these commands. The commands that begins with show, you have to be in privilege mode. The privilege mode, most of the time, it looks like this. This is the description name, the router name, the host name, or the description name with a hash, as you can see this. That is why you can run the command that begins with show. But some of you will be fidgeting somewhere. You have router 1, and then in bracket we have config as like this, then with the hash. And then you're fidgeting, writing the show. You will type the right commands, but you will not get the results. Then still the continuation. Now, this one here the output of the previous commands that were from thing. Show IP interface brief, they're here. Show IP interface, IPv6 interface, there. Then this one here, it's show IP root for displaying the routing table of the router, the known routes on that router. They are here. This. Then show IPv6 root. You're dealing with IPv6. Here it's with 4. Then you have verify what you have. Show show interface. Now here we are filtering. We are filtering. Instead of having all the available interfaces, we are dealing with gigabit Ethernet 0, 0, 0, period. The 0. If in case we have 0, 0, 1, that one is not going to be outputted. So as you can see, we have all this. And every time you run those commands, they will just give you the important crucial information. So as you can see here, it's not clear, but when I look at my screen here, I'm saying gigabit Ethernet, I can tell that it's up, I can tell that the protocol is up, I can tell the MAC address on that interface. The MAC address on that interface. I can tell the IP address set there, the subnet mask that is set there, and then other more information. Other information. So in this, actually you can be so here we have what show IP interface, which is still the same. Show IP interface brief. This one here, it's show interface brief. No, without brief. Show interface gigabit Ethernet. That. Then this is show IP. Show IP. Now here, yes, the information has changed, but there is that which is general, that it appears the other side and even under this. We have show IPv6, that Yeah. Then configure the default gateway. Configure the default gateway. So this is what I gave you as. So when you look at this, that this computer, this router, it has two networks. We have this and then the other one. This and then this. So on this side, we have 192.168.10.0. Then this side it is 11, 192.168.11.0 slash, of course, slash 24. Then even this side slash 24. That all these points, because we're supposed to have an IP address here and then IP address is this side. So all these three, 1, 2, 3, they should actually, the IP addresses should be generated from this network address. This. Even when it comes to this side, this point and then this, all the IP addresses should be from this network address. In other words, this is a network or a group. Even this one is also a group. So meaning that if you are to assign the default gateway, these computers here, they should have the same gateway. And the gateway here should be the exact IP address that is assigned on this interface. Even when it comes to these two computers, now, the gateway, it has to be this IP address, whichever address that is assigned there. Because some of you will be like, oh, no, the default gateway, it has to be the first readable IP address. There you will just use the, oh, okay, so this is what you're going to search for the default gateway on the switch. We need even a default gateway on a switch. Why do we need a default gateway? Because this is the this is our device on the network. This that we've instructed these two machines that if they want to exit this network, they have to go through this point. But what about the switch? Meaning that also the switch, it has to be guided. In case, let's say you're on this switch and you feel like you want to access another switch remotely this side. So the message or the traffic, it has to go through this interface. So minus gateway, that means that it is actually confined. It is just blocked. Yeah? It is blocked. That every time you want to reach this switch, or to reach this switch, or you're on this switch to reach this other, it's on a local network. But if you have a default gateway set on this switch, then you can easily exit this network, or this network can easily reach this switch or reach that switch remotely. So we have the packet tracer activity to connect router to LAN, display the router information, configure router interface, then verify configurations. You verify the configurations. So this is also the packet tracer troubleshoot default gateway issues. Default gateway issues, where you're going to verify the network documentation and use tests to isolate problem, determine an appropriate solution for a given problem, then implement solution, and then test to verify that the problem is resolved. And then after that, document whatever that you have done. Whatever that you. So this is our packet tracer, how it looks like. The reason why it is just in this file is because it's on the second screen. Yeah? But if it was just the first screen on this screen of mine, it would be actually wide enough. So we're dealing with basic basic router configurations, or basic configurations on the router. And then we are going even to look at how to assign the default gateway. By the way, too, assigning IP address on a switch, and then the default gateway. Then the basic configurations, please. I'm not going to repeat it because they will eat each time. So I'm going to use this router 1941. just have it in the exact design. And then if you want the switch, you go to the subgroup of switches here. You tap there. We need 2960 and 2 of them. So I'll press and hold the control, pick my 2 copies, this and then that. And then now I need the end devices. Now I'll just pick, for demonstration purpose, I'll just pick one, here one, and then a 1. So you'll just use the concept to have as many computers as you want. There, but for demonstration, I'll just put 1. And then once you're done, it's time for connection. Still, I will use my control by pressing it when I hold, pick the straight through cable, which is this. And then go to the router. There are 2 Ethernet ports. We have 00 and 01. So I will start with 00, extend it to the switch. All these ports on the switch, they are the same except the gigabit Ethernet. So I will just use any of this, no worry. Then go back to the switch, do the same. Now it's 01, and then connect in any port. And then go to the switch, connect my cable, any port, don't worry. Unless if you're given the instructions, connect PC 1 to a switch, and then in this port 1, maybe port 5, there follow the instructions. See? The instruction. But since it's our challenge, we are setting our challenge, it's you to come up with the instruction, and those are our instructions, please. Even here, maybe any into this. So once you're using the packet tracer activities, most of the time they are instructions. They will tell you, pick this cable, connect it in this port, and then to the PC. So please follow that. Don't do your or set your own challenge. See? Okay, so this is our topology as of now. So it's time to do the documentation, because the documentation, it helps. It helps. And you are going to do what you call the dual stack, where we can actually have 2 versions of IP addresses, version 4 and then version 6. So I will start by defining the IP, the network address, both IPv4 and then IPv6. So if you want to document, you just go for this notch, the icon, it's here, click where you want it. So the network address, I'll use 192.168, maybe .1.0 /24. And then without closing that, I will just proceed, put the IPv6. The IPv6, I will just use 200, maybe 1. Then this ACAD, let me use capital ACAD, then CAF, something like that. Please, you play around with the syntax, the principle. Now, what else? Okay, there, now that I have 3, I can bring in my my subnet ID, maybe 1, and then abbreviate all these other ones with /64. So those. So as you can see here, we have this 1, then 2, and then 3. So that is the network port. Okay, there's 3 actually network port, but the global portion, the global portion, this is what you've stated. You can actually maintain this, but you keep changing the subnet ID. Okay? So here we have one. If we want the second subnet, I don't need to change this, the first three extents. I'll just come and change this, the subnet ID, something different. There we'll have actually byte to get the different subnet. Then since these are for 1, 2, 3, 4, then to mean the other 4 extents, they are all zeros. See? They are all zeros. They are all zeros. That is what it means. See? So I will just pick this, then edit in the interest of time, have it here. Then edit it. Where we have the 1, I will just put a 2. And then here where we have the 1 still, I will just put a 2. So as you can see now, this it's different from this, and we've just changed one extent. So you can have as many subnets, the IPv6 subnets, by just changing the subnet ID. Not you to keep on changing each and every extent of the section. And then if you want, I will not do that. If you want, you can go ahead and still do the labelings. Even here, for example, since you are saying that it's 2 dot the other side, so here you can say it's going to be 2.1 as the IP address on this, but we have this one here down, it's going to be 1.1. 1.1, that is IPv6. Then where we have, IPv4, where we have IPv6, then automatically we're just going to put a 1 on the one. So we can even go ahead and here say maybe it's going to be 2. It's going to be 2, maybe .2. Then this it's going to be 1.2. But following these addresses, please, we have even this the switch. We can actually give it a 2, maybe .10. Okay? It's not a must that you hide the numbering. It has to be contiguous. Okay? It can be discontiguous by skipping. Okay? You have one here, the second IP address, it's 100 as long as it is in the same. It's like selecting. So here it's 2.10. Here we can actually say it's 1, maybe .100. So whatever that you are doing here, it's labeling. Okay? A labeling. It does not mean that we've assigned the IP addresses to our device. So this one here, it helps you to keep you aligned. What am I supposed to do? Which IP address here? Oh, this IP address has already been used because it is already labeled here as a description. Okay, so we are done there. Now it's time to access the device. So when you look at the devices here, please, in Packet Tracer, it's possible you can tap on the device and it opens. So on these physical devices, where are you going to tap? Do you have where to tap and then it opens? No. So we are going to use the exact syntax that we would have used in case, let's say, we're using this physical devices. So I need the console cable, which is this. Pick it. I will start doing the configurations with the router. So as in case you want to configure a switch or a router, make sure that you have a complete working machine. Your laptop, my laptop, the desktop, a complete working machine. And then we need a cable, console cable, connect to it. RS232, this is the port. Tap on it or connect, because if I say tap on it, I don't know where you tap on the physical device. So connect to it and then extend that cable to the device that you feel you want to configure. Is it a switch? Is it this other switch? Or it's the router? We're starting with the router. Click on it. We have auxiliary and then the console. Please, as you're doing this, the connection, very, very important. Very important. So we've managed to connect it to the router. Now we are going to use this PC to access the router. How? Tap on this PC. It has opened. It's here. And then you go to the desktop. That is where there is the application to use. So we need an application because it's a computer. Now we need an application to access our device. So that application, it is Terminal. So once you tap on Terminal, you go to, without changing anything here, click OK. There we are. This is our router. We're in. So you press enter. Here, once you press enter, you want to get the until we reply. We have the dialog where we have to reply with either yes or no. So the answer is no. Because if you just reply with yes, you're going to be asked things that you haven't configured and that you're supposed to configure. The passwords and blah blah, the initial configurations. See? Okay. And for your information, once the device has those all the settings, you won't be asked. You will not see that dialog. So every time you see that dialog, you know that the device, it is empty. There are no settings, there are no configuration. So it's not clear, but please, okay. That is the user mode. Like I promised, that is your challenge. Go try out the basic configurations. I'm going to go straight to our main objective. So in this mode, if you want to change, to switch from this mode to the next mode, I need enable as the password. So not the password, but as the command. Once I press enter, you can see the mode has changed. From greater symbol, we have hash. We have the hash. So with the hash, now, we're going to, so in that mode, that is why we can run the so-called the commands that begins with show. Any command that begins with show, make sure that you are in that mode. I will start with this command because we want to deal with the interface. Show IP, so yeah, IP interface, then brief. So as you're typing, you can actually get used of, get familiar with the assistant. The assistant moves tab, B, tab, that is brief. You press enter. So this command, it has to display the available interfaces, and then you get to know how they are formatted. Okay, how are they formatted? Because some other routers you'll find 0/0/0 3 times. See? And now this one here, it's 2 times. See? /0/0. You get it? Even the arrangement, the locality, see? Because there are those ones where you will find that it's 0/0/0. The second one, it's 0/0/0/1. But others, you'll find that it's 0/1/0. So you need to know, or to get to know, how those ports are numbered. We're done there. And then after that, now we know that we have the port that points, we have a cable in 00. We have a cable in 01. But where are they? Actually, what are the directions? The directions. So we have this, the 00 up, then we have this, the 01. So the 01, it connects to this network, and then the 00, it's the one that connects to A2. Okay, to A2. Just to save time, I will just copy this and keep this one here. Copy that. Okay, then I will go back to this. That if you click on the switch on the router directly, this is what is going to happen. You see, it has opened it directly. So you'll have to go to command line interface. You see where we are. Isn't it the same? But this is not the right way. With time, once you get familiar, get used, no problem, you can use this. Well knowing that if I'm dealing with the physical device, I need the console. connection. But if you keep using this mode, some of you are going to lock with this mode. And then when it comes to the physical device, you're looking for where to knock, to click. You get it? Because so now we know that the 00, it points to 2, network 2. So it's time now to deal with this interface. So we need to switch to global configuration mode. How are we going to switch to global configuration mode? What's the command? Config chi or configure terminal. So we are in global configuration mode. This time we need to, because we are going to work on actually on each interface separately. We cannot group the interfaces. Okay? We can't. But when it comes to a switch, you can group them. You can call a range from port 1 to port 10, and you do the settings there, the configuration. So it's interface. If you have time, just complete it. Interface, then we need the G0. I'm beginning with the 00. They are not clear, but please accept. So 00, that is what we're going to put the address. Remember, we have two addresses. One, it's IP, the IP address, IP version 4. 192.168, then dot, it was 2. It's pointed, the 00, it points to network 2. So it's 2.1. Then the subnet mask 255, then dot 0. You press enter. Since we have two versions, we want the two versions. Now I'm going to add IPv6. Please, you have to state it there. IPv6, then address. If you have time, you can have that. Then I already have a copy. See, 200 SCADSA, then CAF, then this is 2. So on this, I'll just give it a 1. This is okay. So a 1, and then you put a slash, /, then 64, period. And then no shutdown. No shutdown, it's for activating the interface. For activating the interface. Now that interface, if I go back here, you will see it up. You see that? It has changed from red color to green. Here. See that? Okay. So we're going to go to the second interface. So with time, once you're used, here you don't need to exit. You can, and we can even edit. But to be on safe side, not to confuse you, you exit and you go back to global configuration mode. And if you have time, state interface gigabit Ethernet 0, this time 1, 01, not so. So me, I'm going to edit because my commands are still there. I'll use upper arrow. So it's interface G00. I'm removing a 0, replace it with a 1. And then the IP address, still I have it there. It's 2.1, but it's supposed to be 1.1. Done. You see how we are saving time? Then we have even the IPv6 under the same interface. So I'll do the same by editing where I have a 2, put a 1, like that. We're done. So in the other previous interface, we skipped the description. Description. Say that if you want to give a description to that interface, that every time you display the configuration, you're aware, oh, this one here, it connects to this. Maybe this you can say connects to LAN LAN, this is LAN 1, LAN 1, like that. Then we can put the no shutdown. Anyway, for your information, the order doesn't matter. You can start with IPv6, IPv4, or you can start by no shutdown, and then you put the address. Or you can go back, like right now, this is what you're going to do. I'm going back to this interface, 00, and then put the description. By description, it is still there. I'm going to edit it. Edit this and put a 2. You see that? So this time, we are going to switch because we are done with the router. Anyway, we need to go ahead and save. You can exit if you want to save, exit and go to privilege mode. This is our privilege mode, and then copy. It is running because this is the temporary storage, then to startup, which is permanent. So it's copy running config space startup config. We have saved. But this is packet tracer. It's an application. So anything that you've done, any work that you do in any application, you have to save it. But for us here, we are dealing with the devices. Whatever that we've done, we have not saved our work. We've saved the configurations within the device, but we've not saved the topology. So if you want to save the topology, you know where to go. Save as, and then you save that work. So we're done with this. Now what I'm going to do is, because I don't want you to waste time, that now since this one here is connected to this router, now I need another computer to connect to this, and then another computer to connect to the other switch. No, it's all about the cable. Do you always come here with your cables? No, you just disconnect it from the other computer to this. So I'm disconnecting this by tapping exactly this symbol. You tap there. See that? I've disconnected. Now, which one should we begin with? Maybe this. Tap on it. You go straight to console port. Some of you are going to connect into the Ethernet port, and you will see the trouble. And then you go back to the same PC. But this time, we're going to lose the connection. So, press enter. You see, it's not responding. So all I need is just to close this and then go back to terminal. You see, open the terminal afresh. Then you click OK. You see now where we are. We are using the same. We are using the same PC. This is our switch, and the modes are the same. When it comes to the basic configurations, please. They're the same configuration that you know under switch, it's the same under the router. So here, what you're going to do is just to assign what you call the management interface. Now the switches, the switch ports, in this, if I run this command, show IP interface, then brief, which is the command that we use on the router, it displays the interfaces. Briefly, it will just list the interfaces. So if I press enter, these are the ports on the switch. So all these ports, they can't be assigned with IP addresses. So we cannot call this interface and then we give it an IP address the same way as we did on the router. No way. So we need this piece, this switch to be part of the network. Because right now what it is doing, receive, send. Receive, send. You get it? But what if I want to manage that switch? Because if I want to reach you, I must be having your contact. Get it? And then it's that contact to use. So I should be having, or it should be assigned with IP address. And now we're going to assign it an IP address since we cannot assign it to the physical interface. So I want you to look at this. Are you seeing this? This VLAN 1. It's a logical interface. You cannot see it physically that, oh, this is the VLAN interface, but it's there as of now. And with time in semester 2, you're going to see how to create more, because this is the default. You cannot remove, but you can create hours where you can decide. You have control over those interfaces. That if I want, I will delete it. But this one here, you cannot. So we are going to use this to manage this switch. How? The same way we deal with the physical interface. So I'll just go to global configuration mode and then call interface, then VLAN 1. You press enter. You see how it is behaving. We're in the same mode as the other one on the router. So this is why we can assign the IP address on layer 2 device. Layer 2 device, you cannot use the interface that you want to assign IP addresses. See? So from there, remember, let's start with this one here. The disconnection, then this cause, but it's the same. It's the same because I've already configured this. It's okay. It's okay. So still I have to close, then open, open. Okay, so it's this, and then now I have to set the address. Address, and then our address, it's 192.168. Dot the upper one, it was dot 10. I think it's 10 or 100. What do you have? It's 10. It's 2.10. Okay, and then the subnet mask 255, then the 255.5, then dot 0. So this IP address is from the other network address that we suggested, and then no shutdown. This still you can actually assign the default, the IPv6, but I've forgotten the command that we need to use. Let me check here. Is it ICG? This and here I'm under interface. Supposed to exit to global, then SD. We have question mark. Far. That is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. So when you look at this, it's ICDM, then prefer, and then we need to put dual, this and then IPv4. So we need the dual 6. Am I missing anything? Default. Okay, I need to have it default. Yeah. Then press enter. What is it saying? It is changed to running SD. This stored batch cannot take effect until the next reload, meaning that we need to reload the switch. So before I reload, I have to first even give it that I talked about the default gateway. That the moment you give it an IP address, it's also going to be treated as an end device. So it has to have, or it has to be guided on how to exit, and or if the external traffic is to be forwarded to that very device. And how do you set that? It's IP, then do you need the default? Okay, default gateway, IP default gateway in global configuration mode, please. It's not under interface. So you go to VLAN, interface VLAN 1, press enter, set the IP address, no shutdown. Now we need the gateway exit and go back to privilege mode. Sorry, not privilege mode, global configuration mode. That is why we need this. And our address or the gateway, we're going to use 192.168 dot what? That's somehow we supposed to be 1.1.1. Huh? So here, the gateway, we are not supposed to put the subnet mask because we are not assigning IP address. We're instructing it on how to exit. It's only when you're assigning the address when you need the subnet mask. So we stop here. There is something I need to note to cross check. You see now, most of the time you have to be keen enough that the ID that the IP address that I used here, I have 2 dots, and yet this is the switch that I'm configuring. I'm configuring this. It's supposed to be 1.100. You see how you can actually mess up indirectly. Okay, so I'll just use this, press enter, and then we edit this address by calling this A1 and then this one 100 period. You see how easy to edit? It is very easy to edit, but for you to be familiar, be used, is to do as many challenges as you can. So that one we are done, but I needed to save because I'm going to reload. I'm going to restart my switch. If I reload the switch, minus saving, we are going to lose everything. So it's copy first, then run with start. Run, then start. And those are the abbreviations. And then after that, I'm going to reload, confirm. So it's reloading now. This second one here, I will not give it a default gateway so that we see the effect. Because you guys, if you don't see the effect, you might be like, oh, why do we need the default gateway? So we need to see the effect. So I'll disconnect this, connect it here in console, then do the same. Close, then open it, terminal, okay. Enable, then configure terminal. Then interface VLAN 1, then IP. Oh, we're supposed to configure IPv6 to the other side. Anyway, then address here it's 192.168, then .2.1, subnet mask 255.255.255, then .0. No, shut down. You see what it is saying? Oh, most of the time you read the notification, see? Don't just punch. For example, if I had not then that sacrifice time to read there, I would have not actually noticed that there is an error. So you getting alert, it's not going to complain by maybe voice note and blah blah. It's just by those notifications. So it is saying duplicate address to this on VLAN 1 sourced by that. Now I've remembered this IP address, it's already assigned on the router. Okay, so all I need is just to use the upper arrow. My friend, what you asked. So it's supposed to be 10. Eh? So if I put 10, it's going to overwrite the 1 like this. Okay. So I want to, let me just access this direct. And then so here you can actually, by the way, run the command show IP interface brief again, so that you get to see whether our address is there. You see, our address it's there, it's up, and then the other side it's up. But we did not configure IPv6. So call interface again, interface VLAN 1, and then this time IP. You see that it has accepted. But if I go back to switch, this other switch, this is it. And then try to still under the other interface. If I try to IP and tab, it's bringing on me IPv4. If I put V, it's not going to. You see that? But the other side where we have actually enabled the IPv, the dual, to have two IP version, two versions, it is working. So it is here, as you can see, IPv6, then address, you can even state there. I don't know whether still have, yeah, it is still there. So since this is a 1, yeah, it's a 1. So yeah, it's going to be a 1 and then maintain, because this one was 100. No problem, I can maintain that 100. Actually, not 100, it's 1, 0, 0, not 100, please. Sorry for that. And then you press enter. So this it has two that I can even go back and say show IP interface, then brief. But now this one here, it's going to display the IPv4. So we need IPv6. Show IPv6 and then press enter. You see? It is here, and then it has even what you call the link local address. That one, it is automatically generated. What you can do is just to adjust that. You come up with something that is easy, to memorize. Like right now, this one here, it's going to take us time to memorize this. Okay? But if you want, you can edit by removing this, and you put what you can easily memorize. You remember this, if you're asked, is it randomly generated or it's just generated from extended unique, the extended unique identifier. So we need the address on the end device. So what we're going to do, this is the address to have there. So we're going to tap on the PC. It's already attached to the router. Close this, then you got IP configuration. We have DHCP static, we need the static. You put the address, which is 192.168.2, then dot 1, it's 1, then dot 2, then the subnet mask, it's here, it comes automatically. Then we need the gateway. So for all the computers that you will have on this network, they have to have the same gateway, which is 1.1. Okay, by closing this. So there we are. There we are. So every time you assign the IP address here, you make sure that you go here, you close it, and then access server. So we're going to even do the same on this desktop. This, we need the address. So the address here is 2.2, and then the subnet mask, and then the default. Now here the default, it's different. It's 2.1. The IP address on the router, So the default gateway for this computer, it's this 2.1. The default gateway for this computer, it is 1.1. So for all the computers that you actually be having on this switch, make sure that they have the same gateway. Even on this, they should have the same gateway. Okay? So this time, it's the time to test the connectivity. To test the connectivity, we need to test from this point to this, from this point to the router, from this point to this switch, then from this point to this, step by step, and we see whether we'll be able to switch. So now I'm going to test the connectivity by using command line prompt. And that command line prompt, it is this, run. You click, it's under desktop, you click on it, and then ping. Ping. We can start by itself, the IP address of this computer. And if you want to know the IP address of this computer, use the command IP, then config. So this command, it will help you to tell exact IP address assigned, the subnet mask, and then the default gateway. The default gateway. Then from there, you can ping. Our address, it is 1.2 for this very machine. Press enter. See this? Successful. That every time you actually trying to analyze the pings, look at these, the reprise, because these are replies. We pinged 1.2. Is it 1.2 that is reply, or it's something else? Do not just base on the statistics, what you're seeing here. Packet sent 4, received 4, lost 4. You might have this the way it is, and then when it comes to the reply, it's something else that is replying. Then we're going to proceed and see, are we going to be able to reach the switch? Because if the switch is not assigned with an IP address, there is no way you can reach it. But our PC, it has, sorry, our switch, it has the address. So it's 1.100. Press enter. So we expect the PC to first connect ARP, to first collect the MAC address. That's the reason why you're seeing the first ping. It's down. It has not, it's not successful. But if I try the second time, you see, now all the pings there successful. Now who is replying? You see, it's 1.100. It's the switch. Now let's proceed and we see the gateway. The gateway, it is 1.1. Let's see if you can reach it. You see that? We are able to reach it. We are testing point by point. The local IP address, that is itself, then from there to the switch, then those are still part of the local address. Okay, the switch, it's the local, and then the default, it's the local. But the PC, that one, it's itself. So we're successful even there. As you can see, it's 1.1 that is replying. Now we need to close to the other address, which is 2.1. Not so. 2.1. They're able to reach the other interface, the gateway for the other network. Okay? And then how about the switch on the other network, which is 2.10. actually the expectation should be unreachable. Why? Because of the default gateway. We didn't set the default gateway because we are trying to reach it from a different network, and the gateway is not set. So the expectation unreachable. The timeout, you see that? And it's going to be timeout. And now we're going to prove that it's the default gateway by setting it, or if you are able, because the PC, it is assigned with the default gateway. If you are able to close the switch and access the PC the other side, then there you can tell, oh, the problem it is on the switch. Let's skip and we go to the switch, the PC, which is 2.2. Are we able, or will we be able to reach that address? You see that? We're able to close the switch. It's because the switch, it's not assigned with the default gateway. If you want to prove, we can even, actually not that. You see this one here. We're able to reach 2.2. If you want to tell that default gateway with the default gateway IP addresses, it has a big role to play on the network. We're going to go back. We can actually ping the second time so that we have no excuse. You see, we can reach it. Now, if I close this, go to this very machine, and then remove the gateway, and then save, and go back here. All the IP except 2.1, 2.1 we will be able to reach it because it's on the router. Okay, it's on the router. It's on the router. 2.1, where are you? Oh, it has even refused. But another thing is it works. Oh, we're actually pinging if it's the point from router then to the other here. So you see now, in the first place we are able to reach it. Now we cannot reach it. Let me see if we can. If you can reach 2.2, but of course we are not able to reach the gateway of the other side, then meaning that even the 2.2 we cannot reach it. So the default gateway, very important. It plays a very big task in forwarding the packets. So that is it.